just go with the flow. It's the Hershey and Keegs Show.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Tuesday night, 9 p.m. You know what that means. It's the Hershey and the Keegs Show.
Yes, it is.
We are happy to be here. Get ready to shake those hips and pinch those nips, because we are going to have some fun tonight.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Wow. You caught me off guard with that introduction.
Didn't I?
Yeah. Was that pinch the hips and squeeze the nips thing in honor of our guest tonight, or was it our guest producer?
It's always an honor. It's an honor of the guest producer. I will.
All right, so let's start there. We have a guest producer, Governor's Comedy Club radio studio manager, Tony Walker, who is Silly Sally's better half, is here doing the production work. He's not. He's familiar to this studio. He's in here, 7 days a week, 12 hours a day?
Too much.
Yeah. So, Tony, welcome aboard. We're happy to have you. Obviously, like I said, we prefer Sally, but we are happy to have you. Everything okay with you?
Everything's great. Thank you, pal. Good to be here.
Excellent. Thank you for being
Good to have you.
And we have a special guest tonight, Mark. You could do the intro.
We have a really special guest, and this is, when Mike and I started this podcast only a few months ago, we had agreed that this had to be an endeavor that was not going to just be wildly popular and make us tons of money, but it was going to be something that we also enjoyed. So we're getting kind of the best of both worlds today. We are extremely honored and happy to have on a friend to the show, a friend personally to both of us, but more importantly, a
friend to Anthony DiDomenico.
Anthony DiDomenico's best friend. That's true. Anthony DiDomenico is a good friend of ours. As you guys know, he is the wind beneath the wings of Long Island podcasts. Been a very close friends with Anthony and Nick Greystone have been very close friends, and our guest is Nick Greystone from the wildly popular band Demon Scar. Welcome to our show, Mr. Greystone.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for being here.
Before I even say anything, Anthony sold my rights tonight for me to be here.
I did. It's funny. I heard you guys talking, and I think there was some chatter behind my back whether he knew about it or not.
I don't know. I was gonna say I don't know if Mark told him or not, because I don't know.
Well, let me ask you guys a question.
He doesn't usually let go of things too easily.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think, knowing Anthony and our relationship and our friendship, do you think that I was gonna deal with his property in any way, shape, or form without running a screener past?
Well, I was thinking it'd be one way or the other. Either you do tell him because you don't want to hear all the shit he's going to give you, or you don't tell him because you know there's going to be a whirlwind of it coming and he's not going to let him go, especially to you.
Well, I absolutely told him.
Yeah.
It was probably the first thing I did. As soon as I hung up with Nick, I'm like, I better call him. At first, I was like, I don't have to fucking tell him. I'm like, yes, I do.
Yes, you do.
Yes, I do. So I let him know, and he was
that little angel on your shoulder.
Yeah.
Like, yes, you do, Mark.
He was super cool about it. Of course, he's happy. He's always happy for our show, and he loves Nick. So, but yeah, so we're all kidding aside, we're super excited to have Nick again from Demon Scar. He his stage name, his persona is Nizza. Nizza, N-Z-A, not to be confused with the word that is frequently used at Mike Keegan's house on Thanksgiving.
Oh my goodness.
Nine, not that.
No. So
that's funny that you mentioned that.
Yeah,
because,
let's hear about the derivation of that name.
Well, its origin came about when I was in high school, and I used to listen to the Wu-Tang Clan a lot. I still do.
Yep.
Because, we let it curse.
Phenomenal.
We can curse as much as you want.
Because, they're not
Mark
to
dropped a
fuck
C-bomb once.
I did, and I had Tony. I did, and I had to clean them. And I only had Tony clean it up because I was uncomfortable that I said it. Not because it mattered. We get through with 5 to 10 million listeners and watches a week, and no one bothers us ever.
Yeah.
But
I told the story about how me and my friend used to masturbate next to each other on a couch.
Right. That got through as well. But I dropped the C-bomb, and I didn't like that I said it because it just wasn't my persona. But, yeah, you can go ahead and curse all you want.
Oh, all right. So, no, I'm just saying that Wu-Tang is still nothing to fuck with. But back in the day when I used to listen to them, I don't know, I would get baked with my friends and do, stupid, freestyling, and I'd be like, yo, man, if there's a jizzer and a rizza, how come there can't be a nizza? So everyone used to just call me Nizza from then.
Yeah.
And then I just liked the name, and then it stuck. And then as years progressed, people have asked me, not all the time, but random on Facebook or MySpace, they're like, so what's Nizzle about? Does that mean like you're Nazi or whatever? And I'm like, fuck no, dude. I'm like, no, I'm not a Nazi. I know I have the shaved head and I look like a fucking derelict, but I'm not a Nazi. So, I mean, it has nothing to do with Nazi or any of that bullshit.
So I remember, obviously we've become friendly just through Anthony, and this was a couple of years ago, but somebody, I think it was on Instagram, came at Nick pretty hard. And you know me, I'll always run to the rescue just to get involved and stir something up. And he made a reference that Nick was a Nazi because his name was NZA.
Yeah.
And, Nick obviously is the front man from a pretty popular band. He's not exactly about to rip someone's head off on public social media.
He's got a lot to lose, unlike you.
Yeah, so I went for the guy. I went for the guy pretty hard. And he scurried. Because he knew that Nick was a lot bigger than him.
I
mean, then I guess he started looking at my pictures or whatever.
Yeah.
But no, I don't even know what the fuck, man. Like, why would... I don't know.
There's no rhyme, rationale, or reason whatsoever. But Niz is your name. Playing with the ladies is your game, and you are a terrific musician.
Thank you.
You know what? I know of Demon Scar and what's gone on with the band for the past few years. Can you do me a favor and explain to me and Mike? There was a Demon Scar for a while, and then you guys took a break for a while. Did you not?
Well, the guitarist, me and him have been playing together. We started in '99. So my friend auditioned for this band. It was a metal band. And he auditioned to sing. And he just wasn't comfortable up on stage or whatever. And he told the guitarist, well, I know this other guy. He might be able to do what you need or whatever. So I went into the studio. Never sang before in public or anything. Just like maybe at a talent show in high school or whatever, but nothing like crazy. So I went into the studio. He gave me some lyrics. They played a couple of songs. And I started screaming or whatever. Wasn't really singing. And that just turned into Tangent. That's what we used to go by.
Okay.
And then we played 2 years together. And then we kind of went our separate ways for about 17 years.
That's it. Okay, so it was a short break.
A short break. Okay. And, we did other things. He did, other bands. I went on and played with Hollow and MFU and Death Proof. And then once I found out that when my ex was pregnant, when the baby was born, I kind of stepped away from music for a while. So for about 2 years. And then he kind of stepped away from music too after a while. And then we were on a train one day to go see Iron Maiden. This was back in 2017. And I was just like, oh, dude, I wrote some lyrics. So he read them or whatever. And the next day he sent me like a 30-second MP3 of like a lick. He's like, dude, I think your lyrics would go good with this. Huh. And that turned into writing our first EP. So then we did an EP, and we still didn't have a name for the band. Like, we didn't even know it was going to be a band. So then we started writing more, and I'm like, dude, we got to get out and play. But first we have to name ourselves, too. Like, what the hell are we going to do?
Yep.
So, I don't know, we were coming up with different things or whatever, and Demon Scar came out, and it stuck. So now we go as Demon Scar. We've been playing ever since 2017. And got a couple albums out, couple EPs. It's great. It's like when I took that time off from music for a while, I wasn't myself. I didn't feel myself. But now that I'm performing again and doing it, and it's actually gaining traction, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's a short period of time that you have. I mean, we're not talking a pittance of followers. We're talking about thousands and thousands of followers you got in a short period of time.
Yeah.
You went through a little bit of an adjustment. You guys, I believe, lost your drummer, and then you got another one. Is that about right?
The first drummer quit after the first gig. The first gig that night, we were offered to open up for Quiet Riot at Mulcahy's.
Nice.
So I was sick, I was getting back into the swing of things already, because my other band back in the day, we opened up for Bret Michaels, Skid Row. We did all these shows at Mulcahy's, and I hadn't been in there in a long time, over 10 years. So when I got the opportunity again, I'm like, wow, this is awesome. Dude, we're going to open up for Quiet Riot. nah, I don't know if I want to commit. I'm like, what are you
Really?
talking
Nah,
about,
yeah.
That's
dude?
huge. Come on, feel the noise,
I might
drummer.
just
He's
play
gonna-
one
exactly.
show and then if you want to
He
quit.
did not
you know?
feel the noise.
No, he didn't
I
feel
feel
That
it.
was
shit.
the Pete Best of Long Island metal.
That was like the sickest burn that I ever got in music, I feel. Like, I got, like, back in. I'm like, oh,
Yeah, right?
so on cloud nine, and then all of a sudden, wah, wah, wah.
Well, I follow your life from afar, and I don't know. From what I can tell, this new drummer seems like he fits like a hot knife through butter.
Oh, he's amazing. You know what's sick about him, too? So we had another drummer in between that.
Yeah.
And he was good, but he wanted to play more covers and stuff, and we respected that, so we split from him.
Okay.
And then Jared, our current drummer, answered our Twitter post.
Yeah.
And he came out. We jammed in the studio 2 times.
2 times.
He gets a call and asks if we could fill in for a gig at Revolution. We didn't even know that the world's about to shut down
Right.
because COVID was just about to hit. And
Right.
we played the last show at Revolution. We played this like benefit. It was a cancer benefit for Kate Fox, who's a good friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
She does this thing, Cancer Can Rock. So we did that. And then the world shut down, and basically we were like, holy shit, we're ready to play again. And now all of a sudden, what are we going to do? It's COVID.
Right.
So we came up with the idea where you we didn't invent it, but people started playing virtual shows a lot on
I remember that
on
little
the
basement
thing.
gigs you guys were
Yeah,
rocking.
so each week we would release a song live, and it just kept people interested, which was awesome. And in that time, we're like, you know what? We're not going to sit on our ass and feel sorry. We're just going to, continue to jam on our own. Once we can get into the studio again and jam in person, and we'll just take it from there. We had stuff that we wanted to release. We ended up releasing the album like in November of so COVID hit what 3 years ago? Or
2.5 years ago. Yeah.
All right, so
Mike was the first patient.
I was
Patient
the
zero.
first,
Yeah.
I
Patient
was,
zero.
I flew in from Wuhan, and but it's so interesting how like such a terrible time, but a lot of people like you struck while the iron was hot. People are home; they're looking for something to look forward to. Let's put out a video a week, and now I have something to look forward to once a week. This great band's going to be putting something out.
Demon Scar. Boom.
Demon Scar, boom.
I thought it was good too. I mean, it just kept me sane too because like everyone was just looking for something to do. We had nothing to do because
Yeah.
like we
Nothing.
couldn't go anywhere, or like everyone was scared shitless.
Right.
I was scared shitless. I didn't know what was going on. Like my day job, I work at the post office. We didn't close, dude. So I was working there, and like I felt like everyone else was just home, not doing anything. And I think that because I was going to work and that was kind of a normal routine, that I wasn't as bad, mentally far off from like, just sitting home and not doing anything and going crazy or whatever.
You know who's really bad mentally during that time?
That-
That was me.
a lot of
messed up.
people.
This
dude,
guy over
you know?
here,
That was bad.
Yeah,
That was really
I
bad.
can't-
It's
imagine.
scary, man. Like, dude,
That's scary.
We're still feeling the effects of that,
Yeah.
Like, this year was the first time that I went to open school night for my kid. Like, it was, we couldn't do it.
And
'cause
she's
I didn't have
19. That's fucking unbelievable.
it. She was born
amazing.
before the first Tangent show.
So I'm glad you brought up that. I definitely wanted to talk about that. So Nick has one child, a little girl. How old is she now?
She's 7.
So, I've gotten to meet her a couple of times. Listen, all kids are special. This kid is just one of those kids who gets it, and she's just like a little bit of a superstar. I give incredible amounts of credit to both her mom, Nick's ex, and to Nick. They've been split now for a little bit over a year, I believe. Is that about that? And they managed to do an incredible job with this child.
Co-parenting.
And she's just, they hold it together there. But this kid is a little superstar. She just is. She really is. Nick talks about her being the light of his life. And,
She is, man.
And I'm sure that his mom does too, her mom as well.
Yeah.
And one thing I wanted you to touch on a little bit, Nick, I don't know how much your audience knows, but you frequent these Comic-Con type of events.
Yeah.
And that's something that you did with your ex, and now you take your kid all the time.
Yeah.
The first time I was ever conscious of you guys taking her there was when you brought her and you dressed her up as, I think it was Wednesday from the Addams Family.
Yeah.
So could you just tell us a little bit about the experience that it's a big part of your life, these Comic-Con type things, and what you do there, and then that first experience about Wednesday?
Yeah, so I mean, I've been going to these horror conventions and like pop culture conventions since I went to my first one when I was 9. So it's always been my happy place. I love meeting like the old school horror people, or the dude that took a piss in like Airplane, like he'll like make an appearance. Like these people make a living off of these things. So like I just like going there. I find my friends there and stuff, and it's my happy place. So so me and my ex, we used to love going there too. I brought her to her first one, and it changed her life too. So like we still have lifelong friends that we met through these conventions and everything. So when Zoe was born, it didn't stop us. We were just like, you know what?
You guys were taking a baby to these things. It's amazing.
She was 3 months old when she went to her first
That's
one.
amazing. That's
awesome.
She was in she was in her little carrier. We brought her, just rolled her around, and just had a good time. And it got to a point where now she started watching not the hardcore horror movies. We introduced her to the more kid-friendly ones like Ghostbusters and Gremlins, and then I Spit on Your Grave, stuff like that. She still hasn't seen I Spit on Your Grave. I don't think she's
Next
ready
year,
for that.
next
Yeah, maybe
year.
next year.
You got her into Poltergeist yesterday, though.
I
I
took her
think.
to Poltergeist.
Yeah, that's soft for a 7-year-old.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain things that she's seen like, holy shit, I can't believe I'm showing her this, but so she was like 4 years old. Actually, no, the convention before she did Wednesday, she went up on the stage and she was dressed as Sally from The Nightmare Before Christmas, and she's like, next time I want to do the whatchamacallit, the contest.
The competition, yeah.
I'm like, all right.
awesome.
So 4 years old, she's like, I'm going as Wednesday Addams. My kid's, has always been outspoken, like since she could start speaking, and like some people always question her age too because she's so well spoken.
Yeah.
The thing about that is because she's been around adults. She's the only one,
Yeah.
So like she hears everyone talk. She's a sponge, and she just picks up on all the mannerisms.
Yeah.
So that's why she has that personality.
Sure.
So anyway, we put her in the contest. She walks across the stage. They asked her, how old are you? Zoe, 4 years old, and I'm Wednesday. And the place erupted.
Erupted.
Chills. I'm still talking, like, I'm still feeling it because,
That's
like,
amazing.
it was such a great feeling to see my kid do this all by herself and, like, have the bravery to do it. And all the parents that put them up there and stuff, that's a big thing.
And
Yeah.
also, there's no better feeling than when your kid takes on one of your passions.
Yeah, it was, and it wasn't like I forced it on her.
No,
She wanted to do it.
Yeah.
So they introduce her. They introduce all the kids. Then they bring them back up on stage, and then she won. And instant tears. I'm like,
Oh,
oh
my God,
man, this is such a great feeling. This is so awesome. So then she looks at me like about maybe 20 minutes later, and she goes, "Next time I'm going as the bride of Chucky." So she's already planning, you
Right.
know.
So cool.
She's a
Fast forward
competitor.
to the next convention. She goes as Bride of Chucky. She wins that one. So now she hit both times she went in, she wins. The third time,
Everyone else is probably fuck.
yeah. The third
Yeah.
time she didn't, and she was pissed. And she's like, "But I didn't win." And I'm like, "Baby, you won twice already. They got to give it to the little kids." I'm like, "Pretty soon they're gonna kick you out of this now, and you're gonna make you an adult."
So, but
competitor.
paint the picture for us. So they win. There's a ton of people watching. It's
Yeah.
a big thing. Did they give them a certificate, a trophy?
They give them, they gave you cash to go shopping. or
Shut
whatever.
up, for
Yeah.
real?
Yeah.
Oh man.
So she got like a little thing. It was
Mark's
cool.
like, I missed 4 opportunities.
Oh my
to
God.
fucking make some money.
Well, no, because I used to get stopped on the street when I was a kid. And I'll show you some pictures when I was like 12 or 13. But people literally thought I was the little boy from Poltergeist. I looked exactly like him as a kid, so I could have won every one of those fucking competitions just showing up dressed like me because I had the same face. People were like, "No, you're definitely him. 100. You're 100% that kid." So I
Now
missed
you're
those.
the old lady.
Yeah, now that's right. Yeah.
No, that's you, right?
Tangina.
Come to the light, Colin. Come to the light.
I just watched that again
Tony,
last
come
night.
to the light, Tony.
That is such a great flick, man.
It's a great
yeah,
film,
right?
dude.
Holy shit. Like watching it last night. I haven't seen it in a while, and I took Zoe to go see it at the Westbury theater. They just released it because it's the 40th anniversary.
awesome.
And it was all remastered and everything. It looked great.
The
Still
thing that's
holds up.
fucked up is that the little girl died years ago. The
Yeah.
John Benet Ramsey character. The girl, the
oldest-
sister died as well.
That's Griffin Dunn's sister. She
Yeah.
got strangled in real life.
She died. Is the Mark Hirschman character still going? Is he still
Yeah,
alive?
He's in
So,
part
yes.
4. He's
Cool.
coming up in the part 4.
Is he really?
I think so.
Damn, I gotta meet that guy.
Yeah, the
Okay.
Curse of Poltergeist. Like a bunch of them too. Like the second one too had that old man that was like the scariest dude ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was like terminally ill, and that was like his last role or whatever. And I think he died before they even like finished making it.
So he looked like he was deathly ill
Oh,
on
good.
that,
Yeah.
which was honestly the fact that his eyeballs were popping out of his skull,
And he looked like a skeleton
but
with skin on it.
it wasn't a
Absolutely.
joke, or it wasn't makeup. It was real. That was him.
Like him, and I feel like Al Davis towards the end of his life.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, that's the
basically
kid.
that's me as a kid.
Wow.
Oh, that's
There
all
we
right.
go.
That's all right. Just smash your phone, Tony. That's all right. Where's Sally when you need her?
He went into the light.
Now you killed him also. Great.
There's a poltergeist in here that fucking.
Oh my God! She knocked. Can you put it? You want to show it again? We'll take two.
Yeah, I'm good.
So
That's a little Mark Hirschman.
let's see. I'll show you guys a picture of me at that age, and you'll be stunned in a little bit.
Hang on.
Yeah, that's basically me at that age, and I'll pull up a picture, and Tony can put it up.
Shit, man! I wish I'd have brought my poster. You could have signed it for me.
So listen, I always get it. I think obviously now that you and your ex are no longer together, I haven't had any communication with her, but obviously you guys still parent the same way, which is you guys are still taking her to movies that are older than a 7-year-old normally would see.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying should, I'm saying normally, because the truth is this kid is thriving in every way. So whatever you're doing, you and your ex, is a home run as far as I'm concerned.
Well, you know what, dude? There's no right way to do divorce, bro. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just like I've seen so many people go through the fucking worst divorce ever,
Yeah.
and they just bash the shit out of each other every opportunity that they can, not realizing that they're fucking little ears that are around and they're hearing that shit.
Yeah.
You know what, man? That was one thing that me and Sarah were talking about early on in our separation. We're just like, yo, could we please just not bash each other in front of Zoe? I'm like, obviously you and I have a lot of issues, and
Yeah.
we're separating because of that, but this kid doesn't need to get the short end of the stick because it didn't work out for us. And you know what? We both just said we'll respect each other's, living situations. We're going to
Right.
respect each other's which way the life goes or whatever. And yeah, it's all good, man.
Yeah, I just think you're doing a great job. I'm certainly, proud of you and proud of
Thank you.
the whole situation. It's just a delight to see, and good for you
It
guys.
works sometimes. I mean, you know what, man? I can't say for everyone, but for us, we just found that platform where we can just be civil and still try to do the holidays together,
Yeah.
even if it's like a small thing. You know what? It's not very much longer that Zoe's going to be like that, like age or whatever. So maybe later on, whatever. Then we do it separately. But for now, we're doing the best we can.
And that brings me to a point of talking about you still have a strong relationship with Sarah's family.
Sure.
You were extremely close with her baby brother, who had passed, going on how many years now? Is it 3 years?
Yeah, he died in 2020.
Okay, so 2020, and Tony, when you're ready to pull it up, if you have Nick had. Why don't you tell us about the song that you wrote for him and what the inspiration was, and just give us a little information about that, if you will.
Yeah, so me and Keith, we were really tight. We had a great relationship, and we would bond over my music and movies and his, and that the age difference was what was cool because we were so separated in age, and he introduced me to one of his favorite artists, Little Peep. I had no idea who this guy was. It turns out that he introduced me to him after the dude died. So Little Peep was a rapper from Long Beach, New York, and he was about to like really take off. I think if he would have still been alive today, he would have been as big as Post Malone.
Wow.
So he's a sick following right now and everything. Usually that happens though when people die, like their popularity even intensifies if they're on the uprise. So
maybe we should try that.
You can try that.
One of us.
Yeah, you can try that.
So he, that's what we started bonding over, Little Peep, and like all his releases and stuff. And when Keith passed away, what I did was I joined a few pages on Facebook, like Little Peep fan club pages. And I just started talking to, like, followers of Little Peep or whatever. And this kid from Greece, he goes by the name of Setbacks, posts this, like, 1 minute and 20-second, like, clip of, like, a beat with a guitar on it. And I'm like, this is great. And he's like, if anyone wants to rap over it, just take it. I instantly messaged this kid, and I'm like, dude, take that post down right now. I'm like, you do not want this out there because this is really, really good, and it's really catchy, and I'm going to put music over it, and if you allow me to, I'm going to put my music, my lyrics on this, and I'm going to get it, like, all done up nice, and it's going to turn into a sick song. He's like, go for it, bro.
Sick.
So I started doing it, and I shelved it for a while because I wasn't sure as how I wanted to release it. Wasn't sure if I wanted to put it as a Demon Scar song or if I wanted to do it as a solo thing because it's totally not in the Demon Scar vein. So I waited, and about 6 months later, I went to the studio, and I'm like, all right, let me finally do this. So I brought it in 1:20. I turned it into about 3 minutes long, extended it. I worked with this guy, Greg Gavitt, who worked with me with other songs and productions, like from other bands and stuff. He even worked with Demon Scar. And he laid down this like piano on it, some keys, put a little nice guitar solo, and it turned into Nakabai. And this is the song that I recorded, and it's been featured on 94.3 The Shark, which was awesome to get it played. It was like on the anniversary of Keith's passing. And yeah, I'm very proud of this song. So,
all right. With no further ado, Tony, when you're ready to punch it up, here we go.
Down by 10 if you keep in school. Counting all the signs, you're leaving me. Wherever you are, I hope you are set free. See you again on the other side. not goodbye. I know I'll see you again on the other side.
Wow, that was amazing.
Oh, that was phenomenal, dude.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Really beautiful.
I appreciate that. Thanks a lot.
I think it's important for our audience to know, which I'm sure Nick's audience and Demon Scar audience knows, that the type of music that Demon Scar plays is punk. I'll use some of the words that I've taken notes on. Punk, metal, raw, loud, healthy helping of horror, no fancy overdubs, no gimmicks, just straight up hard-hitting killer New York rock. Now, obviously, this song is everything but that, which is really,
Well, I don't think there were any gimmicks in that song.
no, there was no gimmicks.
There's some.
I was searching for one, but I couldn't find
I
one.
tried my best.
But the fact is that was so. I imagine that you have not done a lot of songs like that in your day. Is that about right?
Yeah, man. I mean, most of my stuff is like, more aggressive and I guess angry and, whatever I'm going through at the moment when I write the tune. Mm-hmm. There's a couple of songs through the years that I've written that were that personal, and they usually turn into ballads, but they're definitely not many.
Now you obviously have a talent, and that was phenomenal. But does that take you like out of your comfort zone, being more of a metal punk kind of?
No, you know why? Because I listen to. I want to be genreless. Like Demon Scar is Demon Scar, and that's what we do. We're aggressive and everything. But with me, I kind of want to just like be able to walk into a room where there are musicians, and I could just like maybe vibe off of them and try to record something with them. And, like that tune is totally different. Maybe I've been trying to do some like hip hop stuff too, where, I have like 2 or 3 songs that I collaborated with this, my friend, Kay Lovely. And, that's totally opposite of what, Demon Scar is too. So, I mean, it's just like different genres I want to try to do,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Kay Lovely was your nickname on the couch when you were a kid?
That was what they used to call me.
Kay
when I was in,
Lovely.
Kay
elementary
Lovely?
school, going into middle school.
Now, when you heard this, the kid from Greece, where did you say he was from? The kid who online posted the song or the track.
Oh yeah, Setbacks. Yeah, dude, I mentioned it to him once the song was done. I sent it to him, and I'm like, yo, the song's done, dude. Like, thinking when he listens to it, he was going to be like, oh, wow, that's amazing. Thank you so much. He's like, oh, yeah, it's cool. And I'm like, that's it?
No,
I'm like,
that's
it's going to be played
great.
on the radio, brother. And he's like, oh, all right, cool. Yeah, man. Like, totally like, all right. And I told him, like, I gave you credit, guy. Like, wrote down, like, your information and everything. And, I put it in the credits of the song, and I got it published. And, like, I don't know. It was
probably like
great.
Bono or something. And just like,
Right, exactly.
Now, did you have the lyrics written already, or no? You wrote the lyrics after you heard what he laid down there?
No, when I listened to that thing, I wrote the lyrics because I wrote the lyrics when I listened to his the little minute and 20 seconds. But what I did was I replayed it in my head, like I put it back, and that was the second verse. So I had to do it before it was like completed, because you guys just heard like a 3-minute clip of it.
Yeah.
I had to extend it into 2 verses and 2 choruses. So yeah, that was with the help of Greg Gavitt.
It was good. That song gives me like a kind of like a Queensryche Silent Lucidity vibe. I don't know if you're into Queensryche, you guys.
No, I like
loved
Queensryche.
it.
I'm more of a Silent Lucidity kind of
You
guy.
are?
Yeah.
There's a place I'd like to
Yes.
have. Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
dude. Jeff Tate has a sick voice.
Yeah.
He's
yeah,
like one
absolutely.
of the best metal vocalists of all time.
I saw them randomly. I was doing a comedy show at Mohegan Sun in Connecticut.
Yeah.
And I'm running super late, and there's like 15 minutes before showtime. I run in. I had to use the bathroom real quick, and I'm in the bathroom, and I hear Queensryche. I'm like, wow, they're playing Queensryche on the radio. I walk out, and in the middle of the casino in the Wolf's Den where they have, there's Queensryche is fucking playing right in the middle. I'm like, holy shit. It was
Mike's
wild.
taking a shit in the bathroom.
Shit in the bathroom stall.
It's K Lovely.
That's a good callback for a non-comic. That's not bad.
We're all
Now-
entertainers.
I'm curious, Nick, have you ever thought of taking this song, like, you know how sometimes musicians will take their song and then change it into something else, like they'll take a metal song and turn it soft or
Yeah.
vice versa? Have you thought about turning it into a head smashing type of song?
Yeah, I've been kicking around the idea that I do want to put an electric guitar on it, and like, look at "Mama, I'm Coming Home" by Ozzy.
Yeah.
It's you could play that acoustic and have just Ozzy and Zach Wilde playing it, or you could totally kick ass, get Zach Wilde with that guitar and do like a awesome solo and turn it into one of the sickest power ballads ever. So. Yeah, I would like to hear a rock version of "Not Goodbye" without a doubt.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. That's something to strive for
Because
sure.
getting back to that too, like one of my main influences with songwriting and everything is Social Distortion. And if you hear about like how Mike Ness would write stuff, it was just him and an acoustic guitar, and he'd write all the tunes and present it to the band. So like the hardest tune, like they have some like really punk rock tunes and stuff, but they came all from the acoustic. So I think like all songs stripped down could turn into something, like I think that also is an awesome talent that some bands can and can't do. There's some bands that can strip it down and go acoustic and play an unplugged thing and it sounds amazing, but then there's some bands that just need to be heavy, and just stay in that, I guess, lane.
I think Demon Squad can knock this out of the park. They really do think they can pull this
Yeah.
off.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because, Craig, when he plays, he could scream bloody murder on the guitar at one point, and then next he could play the softest, most beautiful, tender ballad there is, and it's that wide range, and that's why we get along, because he's the same way as me. We listen to such different, diverse music and get influenced by all, different ways or whatever, Music's always been a part of my life.
So it's a great segue, which I was waiting for. Music's always been a part of your life, I guess. Before I ask you as to why, as to who led you into that path, I think I'd be remiss if we didn't mention that I believe today is your late dad's birthday. Is that right?
Yeah.
So, and I didn't even ask you before, and maybe I should have, but I wanted to make sure we honored your dad today by bringing it up, and certainly, let's hear what you have to say about your influence. Was your dad a musical influence for you, or
Yeah, man, he introduced me to like Creedence and Elvis, and that was awesome listening to that stuff growing up with him, and he went to the original Woodstock. My dad, so like he had crazy stories about that. He was never a musician or anything, but once he had a family, and I feel like his wild side went by the wayside, and he was always the quiet guy in the room. Later on in life, the most intimidating, quiet guy, but the softest dude you'll ever meet. Once you get to know him. So. Yeah, my dad definitely introduced me to some good stuff, and my mom, she did too. She introduced me to like Neil Diamond and like Elton John and all the songs from the 50s and the 60s. Like the doo-wop stuff. So I had that going on. My grandmother with the Jimmy Durante and like the Italian stuff.
You had it from all ends, all over.
All over the place.
Wow.
And then my brother, who's my biggest influence out of all of them, because he was 7 years older than me. So like when I was about 7, maybe a little bit younger, 6, he used to walk around with the Walkman, and I was obsessed with his Walkman. I'd be like, "Oh, Matt, please let me listen to it. Just let me listen to something." Awesome. And he would give me the Walkman for like, 5 minutes, and I'd turn it on, and it'd be like Motley Crue, Shout at the Devil, or like Master of Puppets, or Ride the Lightning from Metallica. And I would hear this blasting metal. I would love it, and then he would take it back, and I'd be, come on, let me please. So like my brother would just give it to me, right? Would just give it to me in little doses, like the Maiden, the Motley Crue, and like then he would blow my mind and play me like Public Enemy and like Slick Rick and like stuff like that. So like hip hop in the 80s, like the early 80s, and metal in the early 80s was so sick. Like that's where all my inspiration came for playing that type of music. Motley Crue is still my favorite band of all time, and it's because of my brother showing it to me at that age. And I remember being specifically the moment I knew I wanted to be a musician was I walked into my brother's bedroom. He was hanging out with his friends doing whatever, and they were watching this VHS tape of Motley Crue. It was called Motley Crue Uncensored. It was for the first 3 albums. They had the videos on it, and they had interviews of them driving down the Sunset Strip on it, like Tommy Lee's on his bike doing an interview. Mick Mars is in his Porsche, like driving crazy, and Vince Neil's interview is sick. They roll up to his house, and this girl opens the door, and she's like, "There's Vince there," and she's like, "Who's Vince?" And like, Vince Neil comes out, and he's got 3 chicks with him, and they go into this limo that has a jacuzzi in the back of it, and they're driving down Sunset Strip, and like, it's just that interviewing the dude in a jacuzzi with 3 hot chicks going down Sunset Strip, like, and I'm seeing it when I'm like 9 or 10. I'm like, that's what I want to do. Like, right? Yeah. Like, it was the sickest thing. Yeah. And it was great.
Throw out all my baseball cards and shit.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to do that.
Right. You know what? Mickey Mantle don't pay the rent.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah. So, music's always been a part of my life. And, I still, I'm still into the same music I listened to back then. And I find newer things and everything. And, trying to play. I can't wait. Like, I'm finally playing the Whiskey in Hollywood in December. It's my first time ever playing in Cali, and I've always wanted to play there because that's where the crew got their start. It's been always a childhood dream to play there, and we ended up being able to book a gig, so it was pretty awesome.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah, I can't wait to do that because now for me, I played CBGB's. And I played the Whiskey now. And then now, for me, that's like the 2 meccas. Yeah. I would love, obviously, to play the Garden. But you know what, man? I never thought it was going to get past a certain point. So any extra stuff that I'm experiencing now is just, it's awesome. Yeah, it's a good reward.
Whiskey, Herschy, and the Keegs show. It's a big
boom.
It's a big theory.
Absolutely.
But, yeah, that's fucking awesome, man.
Thank you.
I remember I saw my friend play CBGB's when we were, in college, and it was the most exciting thing to watch him play there, and it was such a cool fucking venue to be at. I wish it was still there.
Take this. Your mic crapped out.
Oh. Are they not hearing Mikey right now?
They can hear him.
Oh, okay.
He's pretty low, so.
I hope that's better. Friends and fans.
There we go.
Now
there we go.
Look at that.
I wanted to touch on it. I think you did a little promo for it before the show. You're in the middle right now of a big competition. Is it what's it? The Scariest Face of Horror?
Oh, the Face of Horror. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
They just started this competition, and like it's every person that I go with to these horror conventions, we're all up against each other, plus other people from other states. But basically, they group us off into like top 20 people per category or whatever, 20 per group. And this week is the 3rd round, and I'm still number 1 in my group. So, like, people have been voting for me, and it's so awesome that people are voting for me like that. I put on here, what's at stake is if you win, you get $13,000, 2-night stay at the Silence of the Lambs Buffalo Bill House. It's a bed and breakfast now.
That's
so
awesome.
They filmed it. And then you get a photo shoot with Kane Hodder, who's he's a stunt man. He's also played Jason in like 4 of the Friday the 13th. And then you get a part in an independent horror film.
That's so fucking
So, like, for me, you know, at the 13 grand, obviously everyone would love to have $13,000 if to win, but it's not even about the money for me, because like I would totally put it all towards like Zoe, you know, whatever, you know, like I'm good with that. But I want to get into the horror thing. Like, I would love to be in a movie. I would love to get Demon Scar on a soundtrack. Like, I would do like all that just to like make everyone set up, you know, so then I can like network other people into it too, because like, you know, I try to hook everyone up with, you know, if that was to take off like that.
Hook
You
us
know?
up, please hook us up.
So where could people vote and
It's cool. There's like a website on faceofhorror.com. You can just click on the contest, or if you're friends with me on Facebook or you follow me on Insta, I'm at Nizza6 or Nizza on Facebook, and you'll just see the link on there. I post it every day. I make videos just to thank everyone, because I still can't believe that like after 3 weeks that like I'm still number one. Like, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So we have like still a couple more weeks, a couple more rounds to go, but yeah, it's pretty awesome. I'm like excited about it.
So when I thought of this Face of Horror thing, I was thinking to what you do when you used to work at that farm, and you'd be that scary
Butcher.
scare the schmidt out of you, or whatever you say.
Schmidt at it?
Yeah.
Switch form?
Yeah, I'm on News 12 saying that to Aaron Colton.
Yeah, so remind me again the verbiage of that again. What do you say?
I'd be like, come to Schmidt's farm, because I'll scare the ever-loving Schmidt out of you.
but your face, is that still going on, or is that?
Their first night is this Friday, but for me, I couldn't commit to this season, so
Okay.
I'm real close with with the management there, and I have an open invite, so if they said if I want to come down any night, you know, they'd let me throw the apron on and go terrorize, the town.
Because it was like a green face makeup, if I remember. Like,
well, I did different characters. My most famous, for me, I felt like and that got the most attention, was the Butcher.
Oh, the Butcher scared me.
Yeah, the Butcher was awesome, because my favorite horror movies, Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Mm-hmm.
So, and speaking of Kane Hodder was also the inspiration for this little character that I developed. So it was basically those two guys put together, how Kane Hodder played Jason and how Leatherface was in the original Texas Chainsaw. He had like that weird side to him, but he's menacing. I would do head tilts and stuff and just stare people down and like briskly walk after them. So it's just me like paying homage to those characters.
Terrifies me so much. If you're not going to be at Schmidt's farm, go to White Post Farm and see our own Tony Walker over there.
Oh, that's right.
Right?
And he'll scare the Schmidt out of you.
Oh, yeah, it's just my face.
But yeah, I had fun doing that. I did Otto the Clown, and Otto, actually, speaking of my old man, when I was in my mother's stomach and they were trying to figure out my name, my father was adamant, and he always said, I'm going to name my boy Otto. And my mother was like, no, it's not going to be Otto. And she would cry about it. And he's like, oh, it's going to be Otto.
Otto Greystone is a sick name.
Dude, how sick would Otto Greystone
Otto
be?
would be good, but he came out and they said, he looks like a little Nizza.
That was the only
Actually,
way
I was
told
inspired by the kid from Eight Is Enough. You remember the kid from Eight Is
Yeah.
Enough? Nicholas?
Yeah.
Yeah, he turned out to be a nice drug addict.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
my God. I think I had a crush on him, actually, when we were little.
Well, obviously, my parents did, because that's who I got named after, I think.
So-
That's what they told me.
It's just you and Matthew, right? Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
So 7 years is quite a little bit of a break there that they had in between.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Matt must have been a handful. I'm assuming.
Well, you know what, Matt? Was the wild, older, crazy brother that paved the way for me and
Yeah.
showed me how to do things and showed me not how to do things, kind of inspired, like, oh, well, Matt got in trouble for that, so I'm not going to do that.
Right. And yet you both turned out real well. You're good, family guys. Good
Oh,
guys,
absolutely.
and-
Yeah, absolutely, man. My brother's always been a positive role model on me throughout my life, man. With music, maybe who I am today. He showed me how a hardworking father should be, just like my old man. You
Yeah.
know, so
Amen.
I had that positive male influence around me always.
Speaking of not a positive male influence, I saw that you have a new piece of ink. I don't even know what part of your body is on, if you can show it to us, but you got a new piece of ink.
Yeah, I got Steve-O to sign my hand the other day.
It's awesome.
So me and my brother went to go see Steve-O's, what the hell is it? Oh, the Bucket List
Bucket
tour.
List
At the
tour.
Paramount, was it?
Yeah, it was at the Paramount. So we did the whole meet and greet thing, and we were like in the second row, and we were able to see like he comes out, and what he does is it's all the skits that he kind of wanted to do on Jackass, but it never got passed, or it was too disgusting to be on Jackass. Like,
Yeah.
because when you're walking in, they say there's no camera, no filming, no nothing. It's an X-rated show. And for real, dude, like the shit that he does, that like just one of the things that he did, he wanted to skydive while jerking off, and with being with someone tandem on his back.
That's how Tony lost his leg.
Oh my God.
So he wants to be able to shoot his load before he
nice.
jumps out the plane, where he's sitting on the edge of the plane, so he could get in slow motion with the cameras and stuff. And dude, it's the money shot. He gets it.
That's
but like, it's so awesome how like he documented the whole way, like how he did it or whatever. And he's just an animated guy, man. I look up to Steve-O because you know what, Steve-O, he's still a crazy bastard, but you know he's like been sober for like over 10 years.
Yeah, man. I read his book. Did you read his book?
Yeah,
It's so good.
He just, that was part of the thing too. He gave us his new book.
Yeah.
That just came out. So that was like you meet him, you get the picture, ticket, and then you get the book too signed. So I'm waiting online. I actually came up with the idea a couple weeks beforehand. I'm like, I always had a little spot on my hand where it was like kind of open, and I always wanted someone to sign it. And I'm like, Steve-O's signature is so funny because it's got like the O is like shaped like a dick, and like he does the little dribble of like the semen or whatever. So
Can you get it closer to the camera? You can't, we can't see it.
like that. See it?
Yeah, hang on a second. Let me see if I can zoom in.
Steve-O's great. I saw
Take your hand
Steve-O.
off. Let's see.
When I was in college, I saw Steve-O.
Oh yeah.
That looks awesome.
Hang on.
There you
That's
go.
Yeah,
sick.
keep it there. Don't move it.
All right.
Okay. Yeah,
Wow, that's nuts.
How cool is that?
all right, cool.
When I was in college, my best friend went to the University of New Haven, and Steve-O was doing a show at this place called Toad's Place in New Haven,
Oh, yeah, I've
Yale,
heard of
right
that
by Yale.
place.
It's,
Yeah,
it's an
yeah.
awesome venue. But this is when he was like on drugs, Steve-O.
Yeah, the good
And
Steve-O.
Dude,
The addicted, ready to die Steve-O was the best.
he came out, and the first thing he goes, if it wasn't for all the cocaine, I'd be really fucking drunk right now. That was the coolest thing I've ever heard anyone say. But like, he did this thing. He brought like 3 people on stage, and he goes, I want the 3 of you to start punching yourselves in the face, and the first one that bleeds gets to drink my. He had a Poland Spring bottle full of his piss.
Oh wow.
And these
dude.
3 guys
Did it.
were punching themselves in the face. One guy starts bleeding. Next thing you know, he starts chugging down this Poland Spring bottle.
man, that's a dream come
it was-
true.
Yeah, I know, right?
See, like-
and it tasted terrible. It wasn't me, but
Like I would let
Broken
him
nose
sign
and
me,
urine. Yeah.
Exactly.
but I ain't drinking the dude's piss.
No, exactly. But I love the guy.
I love him too, man. Yeah, but I'm not drinking his
Yeah.
piss.
That flying masturbating story reminds me of an uncle I used to have. Would only fly that way. Actually.
Uncle Warren.
Only fly that way. Yeah. So was the show up to your expectations? Like,
It was so well. You know what, man? Me and my brother rarely hang as much because we're working so much together.
Yeah.
Whatever. So it was a good night out with him, which was already a win.
that's the gift right there.
yeah. And then we were just laughing, watching the thing, and I couldn't have thought of a better person to go with because me and my brother grew up watching Jackass.
Yeah.
You know. So
Speaking of that, December 5th at the
Yeah.
Stereo Garden, I will be with Preston, Lacey, and Wee Man from Jackass. So get your tickets now.
Oh, really?
Stereo Garden, December 5th. Yeah, I'm very close friends with Preston.
Oh, nice.
He's a
I'm
good friend
definitely
of
gonna
mine.
go, man. I
Yeah,
want to meet
no.
those dudes.
No,
It'll
you
be
know how many
fun.
times he's been on our show?
Really?
0.
No. Thanks, Mike, for nothing.
He got us the Bandit. That's
We can definitely get Preston after December 5th for like a 10-minute Zoom spot.
I'm gonna get him before
Yeah.
December
Yeah.
5th to do like a little promo.
Get him before
so.
September 5th.
He happens
Next
to
year.
have one of my favorite scenes in the new Jackass when he shits himself
Yes.
and he's walking away.
I'm like, come on, man, I just shit my
I
pants.
shit my pants. I shit my pants. Oh, dude, I love that.
Yeah.
Because I can relate to that. Because yes, I have shit my pants from time to time.
Yeah, me too.
I remember me and Preston, we were in Florida doing some shows, and he goes, "We're making a new Jackass," and they were talking about the new one that just came out. He's like, "Don't tell anybody," and I had to keep it a secret for a while, and then finally I was able to tell people. I was so excited, and me and him were like sitting down, kind of trying to write ideas. Like if you look at the very end, it'll say "Special thanks, Mike Keegan." Preston put that in there. And,
that's awesome.
Yeah, so I didn't get any skits that went in it, but you know, I did help.
Remember the time you told us about that on our show?
Yeah.
Me neither.
I'm waiting for Preston to come on to talk about it.
Me and Tony are fighting over Tammy Pescatelli. Can't get fucking Mike's best friend is Preston Lacey. Jesus Christ almighty.
He'll be on. Before December 5th, I'll get him
That's
on
awesome.
so we can promote
Show
the show.
ends December 4th.
Are they doing like a stand-up?
Yeah, him. I haven't seen Wee Man live, but Preston does some stand-up. He tells some stories about the show. He has a couple of stories about like high school. He does a little bit of stand-up and talks about the show and stuff. It's really entertaining. He's very
cool.
And he's the nicest, sweetest guy in the world. And yeah, we're gonna have some fun. So
Yeah, man.
yeah.
I'm the nicest, sweetest guy in the world. And
is true.
before we end tonight, I want Mike, you're going to plug a couple things for us coming up. We have our show we want to talk about, Nick. But take this opportunity to plug whatever you want before we go ahead and sign off for the night.
Okay, yeah, man. I have a couple of gigs coming up. I am playing with Demon Scar at Jason's Woods in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. That's October 15th. Very cool haunted hayride attraction in Pennsylvania. They have like haunted hayrides, haunted houses. You walk through, whatever. And in the middle of the field, there's a big stage. So it's going to be us, Sharp Violet, and Steven the Not Steves. That's going to be on the 15th of October. October 29th, we're going to play a Halloween show at Beery's in Bethpage.
Nice.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun night.
I will be there. I love that place.
Cool. Awesome.
Nuts, man. Steve
Yeah.
Beery's-
Oh, yeah, Steve
Beery's
Beery.
a good
Yeah, man,
dude.
he's a good dude. I love him.
He's been in here a few times.
Demon Scar actually released an album called Live at Beery's, and we're immortalized. He put it up on the wall. So, like, it's kind of like our home. And I always told him if Demon Scar goes on a sick, massive world tour, just like how the crew went back home to play the Whiskey for the Dr. Feelgood tour, we'd kick off the tour at Mr. Beery's and fucking, I want to flood, like, the Hempstead Turnpike,
awesome.
man. That'd be sick. That's a dream to have. Keep it going. All right, our drummer, Jared, he has 2 gigs coming up as well. He also sings in a cover band called Alt X. They're playing Nostalgia in Bethpage on November 5th. Nostalgia is now what's One-Eyed Jacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they just renamed themselves, but he's going to be there, and he's going to be at Rudy's Bar and Grill in Patchogue, New York, November 23rd. December 9th, Demon Scar is going to be at the Whiskey in West Hollywood.
Boom.
It's going to be sick.
Sick.
Nizza has some solo songs coming up, so keep your eyes peeled for that. And also, I'm doing a collaboration with my friend Joe. He's in a band called Gallery of Ghouls, and we're doing a couple of covers, and we're releasing them. We're doing Misfit Skulls and Ramone's Pet Cemetery. That's going to be coming out in the middle of October. We're just coming up with cover art, actually, right now. So that's the only holdup, but... yeah, so I definitely have a full calendar with stuff coming up.
That
But
is
I,
awesome. So yeah, follow
Yeah.
Nick on his socials and go to those shows, get some tickets. I'm looking forward to Nostalgia. My buddy Tom that used to manage.
Oh, yeah, I know
used
Tom,
to,
man.
used to
Yeah,
manage, used to
he's a
manage
good guy.
Revolution's opening it with those
he
guys.
used to book my band over at Revolution all the time. I deal with Tom
Yeah,
all the time.
he's a good
Yeah,
dude.
he
So
is.
Nostalgia, looking forward to that opening. Check it out in Bethpage. And then us, Herschy and the Keegs show, November 18th, right here at Governor's Comedy Club in the Giggle Room. Tickets are on sale now at govs.com. I know they're going quick, so get them this week. They're going to
I
sell
haven't
out.
really even pushed it on the website, and I called up and spoke to the club the other day, and we already sold like a third of them.
Yeah.
So they're going to go out quick. So anyone any real Herschy and the Keegs fans who are watching, listening, go on govs.com, November 18th, the Giggle Room. It's going to be me. It's going to be Mike. It's going to be Carla Okerson. It's going to be Tom McGuire, a young comic who's really going to make a splash very soon. He's phenomenal. It's going to be Peter Hirsch from 8 O'Clock Shot, who you guys know from, obviously Mike had him on a couple of weeks ago.
We both
on the
did.
show at Governors.
Yeah.
No,
on my show, yeah,
no. We had him on this show as well, but stand-up wise, this will be his second stand-up appearance, and it's going to be. Did I miss anyone? Oh, and Jay. And Jay. They call him Fat Jay. I don't like referring to him as that, but it's going to be a great show. So get those tickets. November 5th, Mike is promoting something that's right before our show, so I'm not that concerned about that. But I will say this, Nick, you were a great guest. You're a great guy. We wish you so much good things going forward in the future for you. If there's anything we can ever do for you, you always just let us know.
Thank you.
And this was super. And again, always wishing you well, your baby girl, your ex. We think you're super. So thanks so much for coming on today.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you personally to Mark for mentioning my dad because today was his birthday. And just wanted to wish him a happy birthday, and I miss you, Pop. Thanks.
That's a great way to end the show. Tony, thanks for covering tonight for Silly Sally. You did a great job other than playing the music that I asked you to at the end just now.
Oh, you wanted to play while you were talking?
Yeah.
That's all right.
Understood. I thought you meant after you were
I'm
done.
kidding. You did awesome. Thank you very much, Tone. We know you covered in a pinch here, so thank you very much. You did awesome for us. And that's it, guys. You guys have a great night. This is a great show, and we will see you next week with, I think I can let everyone know now, I told Tony and Mike, we talked about it, we will be having on... I guess arguably the known as the best special teams coach in the history of the NFL.
I would say
that's what he's. I mean, that's what he's well known as. Mike Westhoff, formerly of the New Orleans Saints, New York Jets, Miami Dolphins. He's a super cool guy. He's going to be a great guest. We just got him over the weekend. We're very proud to have him on, just as we were Nick. And keep on supporting us. Keep on spreading the word. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok.
Smash that like button.
Smash the like button, and we'll keep on putting out a good product for you. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great night.
Good night, guys.
Later.